In this lesson, we walk through how to button up the jacket. We show how to add buttons to the sleeves, pocket, and front shell, as well as offer some tips to how to edit the smart buttons. Let's first add the buttons on the front. For this jacket, we have the wearer's left bodice that needs to overlap the wearer's right bodice. We need to download the button from the Browseware Cloud Seams and Trims library. For this jacket, we use the marble button that is paired with the keyhole buttonhole as specified in the spec sheet. In the library, there isn't a marble button paired with the keyhole buttonhole. Instead, we have this marble button with a rectangular buttonhole. Then we have this plastic button paired with the keyhole buttonhole. Before we continue, can you try and think of a way to obtain the marble button and pair it with the keyhole button? To do this, we first need to download both smart buttons. Once downloaded, we hover our cursor over the smart button with the marble button. We click on the hamburger menu and click Look Inside. If you are using large thumbnails, click on this icon. This shows all the different components of the smart button. Next to the button, we click on Extract a Copy. The marble button is now extracted, and we can find it in the Trim section. The next step is to drag and drop the marble button to the other smart button. We must select which component of the smart button we want to replace. We select the plastic button. We delete the other trims that are not needed. We now have a marble button with the keyhole buttonhole as a smart button. We rename the smart button. Before assigning the buttons, let's adjust the button size. When we click on the 3D trim, we check that the orientation of the button is correct. If not, we must adjust it. The button needs to be 2 centimeters in width, and the width of the buttonhole needs to be adjusted to 2.5 centimeters. We also want to save a snapshot of the jacket first, just in case. We create a manual snapshot and name it No Button. Now we use the Assign tool to add the button to the bodice patterns. We add the button on the wearer's right bodice. There are already markings for the button placement. Then we assign the buttonhole to the wearer's left pattern. We repeat the same thing for the second button. If we have locked the lining patterns in the 3D window previously, we need to clear the styling first before updating the simulation. Now we dress the garment. We use the styling tool to help the bodice simulate correctly. Using a pinch tool with focused styling is the best way to do this. We increase the radius and pinch the garment so that the wearer's left is below. If the lapel is not folding down, we change the fold angle of the lapel facing to 120 degrees first. Remember, there is never only one way to style a garment. The simulation results you see in this video may not look exactly like you see on your screen. Always analyze the garment and think of the different combinations of tools you can use to improve the simulation. Since we have not applied the correct fabrics, we also do not need to make sure that the simulation is perfect yet. We just want the simulation of the garment to at least look in place and that there are no collisions. This looks good enough for now. We save a manual snapshot called Buttoned Front. Pause the lesson here if you need more time to create the smart button and simulate the closure on the front bodice. Let's now add the buttons on the sleeve. The button placement for the sleeves is not indicated on the bottom sleeve patterns. Rotate the patterns to align the vent, like this. We select the bottom sleeve and ensure that the pattern is on top of the top sleeve in the 2D window. We add in points using the Insert tool and align them to the points on the top sleeve patterns. Once we are done, we rotate the sleeve pattern back. For the sleeves, we use a different sized button, so we clone the existing button and adjust the sizes. The button should be 1.4 centimeters in width, and the buttonhole should be 2 centimeters. Next, we use the Assign tool and assign the button to the garment. The button should be assigned to the bottom sleeve, and the buttonhole should be assigned to the top sleeve. Now we turn on textures and see that the buttonholes need to be rotated. We do so with the Gizmo tool. We need to assign to the other side as well. We proceed to update the simulation. We need to use the pinch tool to ensure the layers simulate properly. This looks great. The last thing we need to adjust is the buttonhole position. We need the position to be as seen on the pattern. For this, we need to edit the image size externally. We select the first button on the 2D Resources tab. In the Context view, we select the buttonhole. We click the Diffuse map. We need to remember the resolution of the image, which is 14%. Then, we click on Edit to load the image in Photoshop. Then, with the Crop tool, we expand the image and add space to the right and left of the image. Then we click Save. The image is updated in VStitcher. The button has been reset to the original size. We need to adjust the size of the buttonhole again to be 3 centimeters in width. In the image editor, we adjust the resolution to be 14%. This ensures the button size remains the same as previously. Then we adjust the crop region of the image until the position of the buttonhole is as intended. We do the same to the other Smart button. And now the blazer construction is complete. We are only left with applying the materials and finishing on the jacket, which we will cover in the next lesson.